The Ronin Who Never Lost, Miyamoto Musashi's Life of Duels and Wisdom. All right, folks, we've journeyed through the cosmic origins of ancient Japan, witnessed gods stirring islands into existence and sun goddesses hiding in caves. Today, we're stepping out of the realm of divine creation and into the very real, very intense world of a legendary figure whose life story is more epic than most myths combined. Get ready for a tale of swords, strategy, and a man who literally slept with his sword. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dynamic Interactions. We've sailed the divine seas and witnessed the birth of a nation, but today we're getting down to earth, specifically to the dusty, bloody battlefields and philosophical depths of feudal Japan. If you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions like, how do I become truly unbeatable? Or, why does my Wi-Fi keep cutting out during my favorite shows? You've absolutely come to the right place. Well, at least for the first question. The second one, my friend, is a mystery for the ages, probably involving gremlins living in your router. Now, before we plunge into today's absolutely mind-bending, legend-forging adventure, and trust me, this one's a true testament to human mastery and relentless self-improvement, I've got a little challenge for you. If, by the end of this journey, your brain has expanded, your mind has been blown, and you've genuinely learned something new, something that makes you go, whoa, that's wild, my entire understanding of swordsmanship has shifted, and now I see bamboo differently, then and only then, do me a solid. Hit that like button and subscribe. No pressure if you don't, but if your brain gets a little bigger today and you feel that satisfying thump of new knowledge settling in, well, you know what to do. Let's build this community of curious minds together, one legendary tale at a time. Part 1. A Rough Beginning and the First Kill, age 13. So, you want to know about the greatest swordsman in Japanese history? Well, forget fancy dojos and polite introductions. Miyamoto Musashi was born Shinmen Takezo around 1584 in a Japan ripped apart by civil war, the Sengoku period. This was a time of constant conflict, where survival often depended on your skill with a blade. And Musashi, he seemed to be born with a chip on his shoulder and a sword in his hand, figuratively speaking. His childhood was turbulent, to say the least. He was reportedly a wild, unruly child, rarely bathing, described as having a diseased complexion and pimples on his forehead. Not exactly the picture of a polished samurai. His father was a martial artist, but Musashi had a difficult relationship with him, often described as distant or non-existent after an early age. He was largely raised by his uncle, a monk, but the wild spirit was already there. And here's where the legend truly begins. At the tender, barely teenage age of 13, Musashi fought his first duel. His opponent? A samurai named Arima Kihei, who was apparently quite arrogant and proficient with both a sword and a staff. Kihei had posted a public challenge, and young Musashi, fearless and perhaps a little reckless, answered it. The records say Musashi knocked him down, hit him with the staff, and when Kihei tried to stand, Musashi finished him with a blow to the head, reportedly killing him. 13 years old. Most of us were struggling with algebra at 13, and Musashi was taking down grown samurai. This wasn't a fluke. It set the tone for his entire life. From that point on, Musashi embraced the path of the Ronin, a masterless samurai, wandering the land, seeking challenges, and forging his skill through an astonishing number of duels. He wasn't fighting for a lord or for honor in the traditional sense. He was fighting to prove his own path, to master the sword, and, quite frankly, to survive. Part 2. The Duel Machine. 60-plus victories and the Yoshioka School. After that first kill, Musashi became a veritable duel machine. He wasn't just fighting, he was experimenting, evolving, and refining his unique style. He's credited with fighting over 60 duels and winning every single one. Think about that for a second. 60 life-or-death confrontations against trained warriors, often in single combat. That's not just skill, that's an almost supernatural level of focus, adaptability, and pure, unadulterated grit. His most famous series of duels, perhaps, were against the prestigious Yoshioka school of Kyoto. This was a renowned family of swordsmen, hereditary instructors to the Ashikaga shoguns, and they were not happy about this scruffy, unkempt Ronin challenging their reputation. First, Musashi fought Yoshioka Seijuro, the head of the school. Musashi famously arrived late, threw a comment about the Yoshioka family's poor technique, and then, according to accounts, disarmed Seijuro with a single blow and beat him with his own sword, crippling his arm. Talk about a public humiliation. Naturally, the Yoshioka weren't going to let that slide. Seijuro's brother, Yoshioka Denshishiro, challenged Musashi next, armed with a powerful staff. Musashi again arrived late, surprising Denshishiro, and ended the duel with a single, devastating blow to his head, killing him instantly. Now the Yoshioka family was in full-blown panic. Their reputation was in tatters. So they decided on a truly dishonorable move. They challenged Musashi to a third duel, ostensibly with their youngest 12-year-old heir, Yoshioka Matashishiro. But this was a trap. They planned to ambush Musashi with a dozen armed men. Musashi, however, was already a master of intuition. He arrived hours early, hid, and when the ambushers arrived, he burst out, killed the boy first to eliminate the leader, and then fought his way through the entire gang, escaping unscathed. This cemented his legend as not just a master swordsman, but a brilliant tactician who always thought several steps ahead. He didn't just fight, he orchestrated victory. Part 3. Ganryu Island and Sasaki Kojiro, the epic showdown. While his duels with the Yoshioka school were a masterclass in tactical combat, Musashi's most famous duel, the one that truly solidified his legend, was against Sasaki Kojiro in 1612 on a remote island now known as Ganryu-jima, named after Kojiro's sword style. This was a clash of titans, a duel between two of Japan's most skilled swordsmen. Kojiro was known as the Demon of the Western Provinces, a flamboyant and highly skilled swordsman famous for his unusually long sword, the monohosesao, the laundry drying pole, and his lightning-fast swallow reversal technique, which mimicked a swallow's wing flapping mid-flight. He was the perfect, stylish rival to Musashi's rough, pragmatic genius. Musashi, true to form, arrived late again. But this wasn't just a psychological tactic, it was part of his strategy. He took his time rowing across to the island, and while he rowed, he used a spare oar to carve himself a makeshift wooden sword, precisely measured for the fight. Kojiro, growing impatient, mocked Musashi's unkempt appearance. When the duel began, Kojiro struck first with his famed swallow reversal. Musashi dodged, and in one swift, devastating motion, brought his wooden sword down on Kojiro's head, killing him. The legend says Kojiro's blade barely grazed Musashi's topknot, a testament to how close the fight was, but Musashi's unconventional weapon and precise execution won the day. This duel wasn't just about swordsmanship, it was about the clash of philosophies, Kojiro's flashy perfection versus Musashi's raw, adaptable mastery. He didn't just fight, he orchestrated victory. After this monumental victory, Musashi largely retired from formal dueling. He had nothing left to prove in one-on-one combat. Instead, he turned his focus to refining his philosophy, teaching, and exploring other forms of art and strategy. Part 4. The Path of the Niten Ichi Ryu. Two swords are better than one.
While Musashi was a master of the single sword, his most revolutionary contribution to swordsmanship was his development of the Niten Ichi Ryu, the two heavens as one school of swordsmanship. This style involves wielding two swords simultaneously, a katana, long sword, and a wakizashi, short sword. Now, before Musashi, using two swords was generally considered cumbersome and unskilled. Most swordsmen would use one sword and maybe a dagger, or keep the offhand free. But Musashi saw the potential for greater versatility, defense, and attack. He realized that the two swords could act as extensions of the body, allowing for simultaneous offense and defense, distraction, and overwhelming pressure on an opponent. It was a radical concept, and he perfected it through countless real-life duels. But Musashi wasn't just a martial artist. He was also a prolific artist, painter, sculptor, and calligrapher. He saw the way of the sword as a path to understanding all forms of art and life. He created stunning ink paintings, often depicting nature or Zen-like concepts. He truly believed that mastery in one discipline could inform and elevate mastery in all others. He saw the brushstroke as akin to a sword stroke, precise, decisive, and embodying inner focus. He even had a distinctive appearance, tall, lean, with a formidable presence, and a famous lack of bathing, much to the dismay of those around him. Part 5. The Book of Five Rings, Timeless Wisdom for Life and Death. As Musashi grew older, nearing the end of his extraordinary life, he retired to a cave called Reigando on Mount Kinpu. Not for peace and quiet, mind you, but to dedicate his remaining time to writing down his accumulated wisdom. And the result? One of the most influential texts on strategy, philosophy, and martial arts ever written. The Book of Five Rings, Gorin no Sho. He completed this masterpiece just a few weeks before his death in 1645. It's not just a book about how to win a sword fight. It's a profound treatise on strategy, psychology, and the art of living. Musashi breaks down his philosophy into 5 rings, each representing a different aspect of strategy. Earth, the foundation, the way of strategy. Water, fluidity, adaptability, and the flow of movement. Fire, the heat of battle, offensive tactics, and intensity. Wind, understanding your opponent, recognizing different styles. Void, the highest level of mastery, where intuition and spontaneity guide action, beyond technique. He wasn't just talking about swordsmanship. He was talking about how to approach any conflict, any challenge, any aspect of life. From business negotiations to personal goals, the principles of the Book of Five Rings have been applied far beyond the battlefield. It teaches you to observe, to adapt, to understand your opponent or your challenge, and to always seek to master yourself. It's a raw, practical guide from a man who lived and breathed combat, condensed into powerful, actionable wisdom. And to think, it was written by a man who started life battling with a staff at 13. Wrapping up, a life forged by the blade and the mind. So there you have it, the incredible, complex, and utterly legendary life of Miyamoto Musashi. From his wild, duel-filled youth to his mastery of the two-sword style, and finally to his profound philosophical writings in the Book of Five Rings. He wasn't just a warrior. He was an artist, a philosopher, a strategist, and a relentless seeker of mastery. Musashi's life is a testament to constant self-improvement, adaptability, and the profound wisdom that can be gained even from the most brutal of paths. He didn't just fight, he learned. He didn't just survive, he mastered. His legacy continues to inspire martial artists, business leaders, and anyone seeking to understand the true essence of strategy and personal excellence. I truly hope you found this deep dive into Musashi's life as fascinating and perhaps even as inspiring as I did while researching it for you. If your mind is buzzing with new knowledge, if you feel like you've genuinely learned something profound and surprising about this legendary figure, then please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more journeys into the weird, wonderful, and utterly captivating world of ancient myths, legends, and history. Your support helps me keep exploring these awesome topics and bringing them to you. Thanks so much for watching, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video where we might just explore some other legendary samurai, or perhaps the art of Zen and its connection to martial arts. You won't want to miss that one. Bye for now.